I happened to get one of the first batches of 5 MeO AMT to go out. It was fairly new, and since AMT was no longer available online I decided to try this out, especially since I've never taken AMT, but I heard it was psychedelic speed. I used the information on the AMT page to calculate a dosage of 20 mg. Well, after reading the tryptamine FAQ just moments later, I realized I had made a huge mistake. The FAQ did list 5 MeO AMT, and the dosage was 1/4 of an AMT dosage, only 2.5 to 5 mg. I then made the frantic decision to gag myself and get it out of my stomach ASAP. I did so, and the pepperjack cheese which I had concealed the powder in also came up, and I had a disgusting pepper taste all throughout my throat. This just made me want to gag more, and I must have vomited like 10 times. In the future, I don't try to conceal the powder in anything. It doesn't really taste that bad. I had tried vaporizing it and smoking it in a bowl, but one accidentally inhaled most of the powder through my mouth before I could even light it, so I figured I better not waste it. After 30 minutes of ingesting it, I dosed at 1 p.m. I began feeling it and really freaked out, thinking it was too late and I was going to majorly OD. But after it kicked in, I had never felt more bliss in my life. It was exactly like trolling, tripping plus rolling. It felt as if I had consumed 5 rolls and at least 5 hits of acid, along with DMT. There was no paranoia nor was it teeth clenching or very speedy. I was very talkative, and outgoing, but it didn't feel like typical speed or as speedy as an acid trip would be. When my friend M tried it he said it was like ketamine plus acid, but everyone else agreed that it was like trolling. It had a dreamy state though. You could close your eyes and relax. The visuals I experienced within 45 minutes to an hour were astounding to say the least. My whole field of vision was like a kaleidoscope. I saw colors and patterns swirling forward in a circular motion everywhere I looked. I felt very euphoric. My whole body was buzzing. It was like nothing I have ever taken before. I listened to music and it actually sounded better than it does on LSD. Music for me has never been so intense, except maybe when I took Dexedrine. I was truly in a state of total satisfaction. It did take a while to become comfortable with it, however, because I still thought I might OD, since every minute and every hour it became stronger and more intense. I was sweating immensely, too. Finally, the peak was over and I was just experiencing mad visuals and a total state of ecstasy. I was more talkative than ever, and I wanted to get out of the house before my folks came home. A friend came and picked me up, and we went to another friend's house, and I finally talked them into ingesting some. We went to TGI Fridays so they could pick up some rolls for Daytona later that night. I reduced when they did, and it began kicking in again while we sat at the bar. Slowly but surely, all the voices turned to low-key mumbling in the background, and I felt as if I were in fear and loathing at the bar, when Johnny Depp had consumed a bunch of acid after checking into the hotel. I needed to desperately get out of there. I couldn't even drink my Bud draft. We eventually left, and by this time they were feeling it too. We drove around aimlessly for a while to pick up another guy, and after doing so my friend nearly wrecked his car after failing to see a car that was turning up ahead of him. He veered around it and nearly sideswiped a van in the next lane. It was a very close call, considering everyone in the car was fucked up and I had some more of it on me. Since I was too broke to go to Daytona, I got dropped off and hesitantly went into the house and made it to my room. I was fucked up for hours on end. Finally, around 11 a.m. the next day I could sleep. I slept for 24 hours straight, no exaggeration. Finally I woke up and the next night I went to my friend Jay's apartment where M was, and we all dosed. Jay left for a while and M and I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson is awesome. Only this time it wasn't nearly as intense as the first time. I think there is some degree of tolerance involved here. It felt more like acid and K than anything else. I didn't hardly get any visuals except for tracers, which weren't nearly as intense as before. Before when I did it everything was coming apart at its seams. Reality was breaking up before my very eyes and turning into psychedelic patterns of light and sound. It was very intense. Around 4 a.m. some friends came by and picked us up and we went back to E's house along the beach. 4 more people ingested some. And within the hour they were feeling the immense effects of 5 MeO AMT. Their disbelief of the drugs soon turned to amazement as to how a little bit of powder could be so much like trolling. One guy said he wanted to buy $1,000 worth of it, But I told him it only costs $120 after shipping for a good 250 milligrams. All 250 milligrams of my supply was gone by Memorial Day, and I had received it just the Friday before. It was clearly better than the Foxy I had ordered the week before. The only negative aspects of it were occasional stomach uneasiness and massive diarrhea. A lot of people reported diarrhea, especially after coming down. One friend puked from it, but felt better immediately afterwards. I'd probably try it again if it weren't for the diarrhea, but it's definitely worth the experience. I was in another world, another state of consciousness the entire time. It really was pure ecstasy.